work right now. No. Actually, not. No. Hold on, I'll call right back.
One of the things about when you are stretching out on faith and you allowing God to lead your footsteps, you'll realize that sometimes He'll lead you into the unknown, which means you're on a path, you're being guided, but you don't really understand what your next steps or your next movements are. And today, I was just having a serious conversation with myself because, I've been telling y'all, I've been very uncomfortable. And when I say uncomfortable, I mean, I'm around a different environment. I'm around, people that I don't know. I'm around things that are not familiar. And all of this is just going through my mind. And, the safe thing would be to, go back to what's normal, go back to what's comfortable, go back to, the people that you're familiar with. But I understood that, I don't want to do that. That would be a slap in the face to God, because I always pray for growth. I always ask God to expand me. I always ask God to help me grow. And I'm realizing that when you want to grow, when you want to actually, do these things, you're going to be very, very, very uncomfortable, and you're going to be unfamiliar with what's going on. A lot of times we be thinking that we have all the steps mastered and we know exactly what it is that we have to do. But I'm realizing that it's not like that. You feel me? It's not like that. Especially when, you have plans of doing things great. It's not going to always work in a way where you feel like, everything is going in your favor. A lot of times God will take you through roller coaster rides. He'll take you through valleys. He'll take you through seasons where it feel like things are going slow. And you have to continuously keep the faith. That's one of the strongest things that, I'm working on right now. It's staying faithful, even during times where I feel like things are slow. Even when, I'm going through moments where I'm feeling uneasy, where I don't know which next steps I have to take. And I feel like that's all a part of the journey of life. Anybody that is super safe in the way they're moving, anybody that is so-called secure in how they're doing things, 9 times out of 10, they're not really, trying to expand themselves. They're not really trying to stretch themselves. And when you are living like that, you can expect life to go a certain type of way. But I'm not going to lie, y'all. I've seen so many situations where playing it safe is not really playing it safe. It's actually detrimental to your life, because you're not allowing yourself to reach your full capacity. You're not allowing yourself to stretch to your full potential. And that's probably one of the dangerous things that we could ever do. But I find myself always thinking, should I go backwards? Should I, connect with the people that I know are no good for me? Should I continue to move into this space where, it's unknown? And I'm not going to lie, as uncomfortable as it may be, I know when God removes things from your life, I know when He allows you to see certain things, He also blesses you with new things. He also, puts new people in your life. He also rearranges your life in a way where, He's replacing the negativity. He's replacing the old things that, was taken away. But you have to go through a season where He has to prepare you. You have to go through a season where, He's refining you. You're not able to just jump from point A to point B. Everything is a process. And right now I'm going through an extreme process, y'all, of just unlearning, relearning, and doing things differently than I've ever done them in my life before. You feel me? And I don't have people that from my past that that we can talk to and conversate like that anymore, because the conversations are different. And a lot of times people won't understand you when you are on a different path or you're on a different page that they're on. You feel me? That's why it's essential that I stay close to my family, because they're kind of the only ones that can understand me, and they're striving to grow too. However, you still have to go through your own journey individually. Even though that you may be in connection and you talking to people, you still have to go through your own growth journey individually, which means all the feelings that you're feeling, all the emotions that you're going through, every thought that you're having, you have to internalize those things, and you have to, ask yourself, why am I feeling like this? You have to be able to just grow. You got to be able to change, especially if you want to grow and you want to change. You got to expect for things not to be easy. Nothing's ever easy. Nothing is ever going to just drop in your lap. As you're becoming a better person, as you're trying to change, as you're trying to evolve, nothing is ever going to just, be so easy and be so simple. And that's when you start to question yourself, is this what I really want? And at the end of the day, I know what the past feels like. I don't want to go back to the past. I don't want to be in a situation where I am, regretful for making a bunch of progress and then find myself, back in the same position or back in the same mind state or back in the same energy level that I was before. So that's why it's important that I'm just expressing to y'all how I feel, because I don't know, I don't know who's watching these videos. I'm not able to tell you, if somebody else is feeling this way too. All I know is you have to trust the process. Whatever God is doing in your life, you have to be able to trust the process. You all the time will not know what's going on. We so busy and we're so focused on being in control of everything. Sometimes you're not going to be in control. The only thing that you can control is the things that you can do. But your journey, your process, and how it's going, God may take you through loopholes. He may take you through phases of your life that you don't understand what's going on. You don't know what's happening. All you know is the things around you are changing. The conversations are changing. The way you feeling are changing. And I hope this video is encouraging to anybody who is also, in an uncomfortable state. Whatever that may be. You may have lost a relationship. You may have, lost a friendship. You may have lost your job. Whatever it may be, that situation is meant for you. It's meant for you to learn from it. It's meant for you to grow from it. It's meant for you to really sit down and understand, where do you go from there, And life is a beautiful journey. Within it being a journey, the steps you may not always know. And the position of you being uncomfortable, you have to accept that, because that's what growth is. If you know everything, if everything feels good, if everything is pleasurable to you, 9 times out of 10, there is no growth there, You'll find the most growth when you are uncomfortable. You're going to find the most growth when you are not in control of every step, because you have to allow your faith and the position that you're in. You got to know that things are working out in your favor. If you're moving in a direction that you're supposed to move, you have to understand that things are working out in your favor. But when you don't see them with your eyes, when you don't visually see the pieces connecting, that's when fear starts to kick in. That's when you start to panic a little bit. But those are your tests. Life will throw you so many tests. And within those tests, you have to be strong enough to handle them. You got to be strong enough to overcome them. You have to be strong enough to understand that you will get out on the other end. And it sharpens your mindset. It makes you stronger. It makes you understand that as you're overcoming obstacles, as you're overcoming hurdles, it gives you a sense of confidence. It gives you a sense of belief, just to keep moving forward, just to keep pushing. When I tell y'all, it's a blessing to be able to go through things. It's a blessing to be able to understand that your path is different than everybody else's path in this world. Your path is different than, whatever anybody else got going on. So when people don't accept you for who you are, or people don't understand what it is that you're doing, you have to understand it's not meant for them to. And if you allow that uncomfortability, if you allow that feeling of you're missing out, then 9 times out of 10, you're going to regret going backwards. You're going to regret falling victim to those feelings. You have to keep moving forward. You got to keep pushing. You got to understand that everything in your life that happens to you is happening for you. It's causing you to just open up your mind. It's causing you to just really lean in to the person that God wants you to be, the person that you're destined to be. We got to just understand that life is beautiful. Share love, share positivity. Don't allow external circumstances to take control over your mood. And as easy as that might sound, we have to actually practice that every day. And within practicing that, you'll realize you're becoming better. And as you go through that, you'll be able to help people. You'll be able to help people, and you'll be able to, connect with other people who have also gone through pain. I feel like if you go through life with no pain, if you go through life with not stretching and expanding yourself, then you only limiting yourself. You only putting yourself in a position or a situation where it's not beneficial to you. But I was just having, a serious conversation with myself today, and I wanted to, give y'all insight and let y'all know that everything is going to be okay. Everything is going to be fine. I'm sending my prayers. I'm sending good energy to the people out there, and just put your best foot forward. You're not going to know every step. You're not going to know every move. Sometimes even know which way you turn it, but it's all for a purpose. It's all for a reason. You just have to be focused and locked in and understanding that you're here for a reason. Don't waste it. And you're not going to know every step. You're not going to know every move. There's people out there that's also going through the same thing. Whether they express it or not, trust me, they live in a life. But while growing, while trying to become better, it's painful. And they understand that, in order to get to the other side, you have to go through those things. You have to be the person to experience that pain. You have to be that person to experience just certain things in your life. That's really what was going on in my mind today, man. And I just wanted to, start this morning off with, a conversation that, I feel like a lot of people would love to hear. A lot of people would, be interested in hearing, especially if they're going through the same thing as well. Your life is not over until your eyes are closed. So we're not going to live every day and be down on ourselves or be worried or be doubtful or be fearful. We're too blessed for that. If you're watching this, you're too blessed for that. That's what it is, man. And, I appreciate y'all. I love y'all. And we're going to see y'all in the next video. Like, subscribe, and ring that bell notification for more vlogs. Let's get it.